Hello, I know I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you've been doing all right. I'm okay. In case you're wondering, the reason that I haven't been around for a little bit is because I'm tired. Yeah, that might have been a good guess on your part. Why am I tired? Let's see. Oh, right. So, a couple weeks ago, out of nowhere, the halfway houses started getting these letters from the DOJ, the BOP, somebody. I don't know. We don't actually know because nobody's really actually told us anything. And I don't mean just me, I mean like our advocacy groups and, people that they normally tell these things to. You know, anyway, nobody's actually told us. But from what we've pieced together, so somebody started sending the halfway houses emails saying that basically there was going to be an expedited clemency request process for nonviolent drug offenders with less than 4 years remaining on their sentences who are currently on home confinement under cares. And it's really strange that they said nonviolent drug offenders because if you were violent, you weren't getting out on cares anyway. So I don't know exactly why they're adding that qualification because, yeah. Anyway, whatever. Well, okay, first of all, everybody's really happy about that, right? Right. So before we get into why I'm tired, let's have a moment to be happy that people who are drug offenders with less than 4 years remaining are getting called in and asked to fill out an expedited clemency request. Everybody cheer. Yay! All right. No, for real, I'm super happy. There's probably a half dozen people that I actually know personally who got called, and I'm like, yay! So, it was so much fun helping them, how do I answer this question? Just, tell them that, you're on home confinement and you don't want to go back to prison, and that's why your sentence should be commuted. Little things like that. Anyway, so that happened, but the other side of that joy was that people who are white collar offenders or people who have more than 4 years remaining on their sentence lost their collective minds because there's the fear that the only people who were going to be offered a sentence commutation were the people with less than 4 years remaining who were drug offenders. So a lot of people started filling out clemency packages anyway, even if they didn't fit into that category, and sending them to the U.S. Pardons Office just to see what they would say, right? So, the first thing that I need to tell you is that when you submit something like that to the U.S. Pardons Office, right? Okay, normally, you don't hear from them for ever. Okay, it's really normal to not hear from them. I'm talking for a year or something, okay? It's really not common. Well, people who were on this expedited list, they were submitting their applications and they were hearing back from the U.S. Pardon Attorney within the hour. I'm talking less than 45 minutes. They were hearing back right away. Not telling them whether or not the request was granted, mind you. Just telling them, hey, we received your request. You do fit within the parameters that we're currently looking at for an expedited home confinement review, and here's your case number. Okay, so that's pretty cool. All right. So people like me, because I submitted a request, okay, I got a response saying it has been determined that you do not fall within the parameters of the expedited screening process. Due to resource limitations, we are unable to respond to requests about the status of your case or provide you with any additional information regarding your request in the clemency process. Although we are unable to predict when a decision will be reached by the president, you will be notified promptly when final action has been taken. That's pretty cool. Okay, whatever. So they give me a case number and all that, right? Now, when I first submitted it, they sent me an auto reply immediately, just telling me, hey, I got it. They didn't tell me that they had looked at it or if I'd fit into it right, but it was just, just a general, we got it. Now, listen to what this says, okay? The Biden home confinement expedited screening. The president is exploring the use of his clemency power for individuals on home confinement under the CARES Act for nonviolent drug offenses. Okay. Currently, the expedited screening program is only for those drug offenders on home confinement who have between 18 and 48 months remaining on their sentences. So, of course, everybody's hanging on to the word currently, right? And I mean, that makes sense. And to be fair, usually they don't use words like that to give false hope. So we would really like to think that currently means that they're going to be looking at us later, right? What's really interesting I found was that they said, that they're only looking at people between 18 and 48 months. My first thought was, oh, that's because they think with anybody with 18 and less is going to time out naturally by the time they get any of this actually decided. And I was like, oh my God, are we actually going to sit on this another 18 months? It's possible, but hey, I mean, what else are we doing? Some of us are sitting out here for another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years even. Okay, right? So let's just sit here and breathe, okay? Smell the flowers. I'm smelling the salt off the Long Island Sound right now. My life is awesome. All right, so that was the first part of it. Now, part of the thing that's really aggravating everybody is that a few times now, various reporters have asked at the press conferences, they've asked the press secretary, Jen Psaki, what's going on with this, with the people out on home confinement? Are you actually going to send them back to prison? What's going on here? And she's given this really un-Jen reply that is like, well, the president's exploring his clemency powers. He's thinking about stuff, and he's kind of into that. You should ask the DOJ. That's basically what her response has been every time it's been brought up, which has been super aggravating, because normally she's like very forthright and like straight to the point and telling what's going on, doesn't really mince words, right? So that's kind of exasperating. So she tells us to ask the DOJ. Okay, cool. So I get this, reply back again, going back to this letter. It's actually a pretty long letter, but some of it's really boring. It tells like what kind of file types they accept and all that. They don't accept JPEGs. They don't accept, PNG files. It has to be PDFs, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. So at the end here, it says, let's see here. The Office of the Pardon Attorney is unable to provide additional information or clarification about the expedited home confinement screening program, so additional questions should be routed to the White House Office of Public Affairs. Okay. My head exploded when I read that. I was like, you cannot be serious right now. Oh, hi, Boris. Here, this is Boris. He wants me to stay home. Okay, so I was like, you cannot be serious right now, right? Because when we do go to, the Office of Public Affairs, which would be press secretary, right? She's like, oh, no, ask the DOJ. I go to the DOJ. DOJ's like, yes, the White House. Oh, no, we're not playing that no more. So I called her out on Twitter, because I'm about that life. And she didn't respond, because I'm not cool enough to get a response from Jen Psaki. I mean, that's just the reality of life, right? Right. Okay. So I was like, one of you tells us this, one of you tells us that, and if you don't actually have a plan, okay, if they don't have a plan, because it's very possible that they're sitting here going, honestly, if I'm President Biden, if I'm the DOJ, if I'm Merrick Garland, these people up there, right? I'm going to be sitting there saying, fuck, I really do not want to send 4,000 people back to prison. This is a really bad look, I'm also going to be sitting there thinking, oh my God, what if I let these people stay out and these fools start doing the most again? What if they don't even start doing the most, but like, the GOP people start, because, we've already got Tom Cotton sitting there running his mouth about it as if he actually knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't, because I'm going to let people way smarter than me tell you about it, but seriously, go on Twitter, okay, and you look up that dude from the Brennan Center, and you read his articles, and you look up the articles that Dan Landsman from FAMM writes about it, okay, because they write much better than I do, because I'm just rage right now. I can't. I'm a good writer, but I can't. On this issue, I'm like, let's fight. So I can't do it right now. And let me be clear, it's not about me that I'm like, let's box. It's the people that I talk to every day. Because I'm not afraid to advocate for myself. I'm really lucky. I've had a really privileged and charmed life. I'm not afraid to pick up my phone and call my senators, okay? I'm not afraid to pick up my phone and call my local congressional rep. I'm not afraid to call your congressional rep and your senator either. I'm not afraid to write a massively long letter to them. I'm not afraid to call them out in public. I'm not afraid to call the president of every advocacy organization that is out there working for us right now and say, hey, how can I help? What are we doing? What's going on, right? I'm not afraid to run my mouth on Twitter. I'm not afraid to talk to the news. I'm not afraid to be on anybody's podcast, on anybody's live stream. I'm lucky that way, though, because there are a lot of people that are being intimidated out of talking in public now. There are a lot of people that don't have those skills and don't even know how to navigate that bureaucracy. Here's the thing, you shouldn't have to. But they're really scared. And their families are scared. Because I keep saying this over and over, and it's true. When we left, it wasn't just that we were not told we might have to come back. We were specifically told you will not have to come back unless you do something to put yourself back. So why are we here now? Well, we know why, because of the OLC memo. And I guess it's some sort of tradition that you can't rescind a memo. But you could damn well make a new one, okay? Don't tell me Merrick Garland don't know how to write a memo that says, like, never mind. Come on. Like, let's be serious here. I can't even deal with this. Okay, so anyway, I'm digressing too much right now. I'm getting myself off track. I'm way ahead of myself. All right, so my main problem with all this was, if you don't have a plan yet, if you don't know how you're going to deal with it, that's cool. I get it. It's kind of a big deal. You've got this whole chunk of people that are maybe perceived in some circles incorrectly, I will say, as getting away with something, and you're not sure how to deal with it. You're not sure what the right way is to do it legally. You want to set the right precedent. I get it. But could you tell us? Because looking at this half-baked plan now where they're like, oh, well, if you're a drug offender with this amount of time, I guess we'll think about commuting your sentence. But, oh, if you fucked up your taxes or, let's see, maybe you were, committing healthcare fraud or, maybe you stole some money from your boss, or maybe you're a drug offender, but you've got 49 months left instead of 48. Yeah, you're going to go back. No. And let me be clear, first of all. Okay? I promise you, trust and believe, that is not going to happen. Okay? No. Because I keep telling people, and I mean it, and they look at me like I'm half crazy, but I'm dead serious. I'm not breaking a promise to my 10-year-old again. And he doesn't know right now that this is an issue. My 12-year-old does, because I can't keep him off the internet because he's 12, all right? And my 22 and my 24-year-old know because they're 22 and 24. But my 10-year-old doesn't. And he was the one who was broken the most by my incarceration. I'm not doing this to him again. And I don't care how much I have to bankrupt myself and everybody I know, getting every lawyer in the world that I know to fight for me, and everybody else, I'm bringing you along with me, so don't worry about it. We're not going back like that. No. No. But it's not going to come to that. So let me give you some good news. Okay. So everybody lost their mind. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, oh my God, am I going to have to go back? Because they're only messing with these people. Okay, great. So I called up some senators and some politicians and stuff, and I said, listen, this is going on. This is a problem. We're scared. I don't want to go back. I wrote a whole open letter to my personal senators, Murphy and Blumenthal, on my blog, you know. Both of their offices were decent enough to call me. Not a robocall. Not just a, automated email. Like, straight up like, hey, we want to talk to you. An actual, real, live human being. Boris, come here. Come here. Come here. Sorry, I really don't want my dog doing anything wrong. Come here. I can't trust him yet. He's a puppy. I know he looks like the size of a whole dog, but he's only like 4 3/4 months old. He'll be 5 months on October 6th. Okay. October 6th? Yeah. Okay. So, they called me, and, I was assured by them that no, they do not want to see anybody going back, and that they are going to be working on trying to find a solution to this, whether that be legislative, whether that be encouraging the president to continue using his clemency powers, whether that be, something like through the DOJ, whatever. But nobody wants to see this happen. Everybody's committed to working together to make this not happen. So we're going to do that. So yeah, that's been really exhausting for me, because every single person I hear from, I want to reach out and want to hold their hand. And I'm like, hey, it's okay. I've got you. I'm here with you. We're all going through this together. I'm not going to leave you. We're not alone. It's not just me. There are plenty of other people, all right? Like, I'm going to be screaming it from the rooftops. I'm going to be going on everybody's show that I can. Everywhere that I can. Because I am lucky enough that, first of all, the people supervising me do not care that I'm speaking to the media. And they actually know that to tell me I can't would be a violation of my First Amendment rights. And I am really saddened and angry for those of you that are being intimidated by your supervisors and told that you cannot speak out because they are wrong. And I do not expect you to fight against them, because they've literally got your freedom in their hands. So, of course, I don't expect you to be able to do anything about it. But they are wrong, and you should know that. And if you ever want an example of how wrong they are, just go look up the most famous one of all of us, Mr. Michael Cohen, okay? Ain't nobody messing with him. Why? Because when he first got out, he didn't want to sign his home confinement papers because the BOP tried to tell him he couldn't write a book, right? And he was like, no, I'm not going to sign that. And they were like, oh, okay, bye, back to Otisville. So he went back to Otisville, and his lawyer got him in front of his judge, and his judge was like, no, that's not a thing. So they were told that they had to let him back out. So all these halfway houses, they tell us over and over, like, no, you're not allowed to talk to the media. The BOP says that you can't talk to the media. Okay, well, yes, you can. And they are wrong. But guess what? You find me one person that's been brought back for talking to the media that wasn't let out by their judge right after. They just like to intimidate us that way. But that said, again, I don't expect anybody to fight against them. I don't have to do that fight. So I will run my mouth. I got you. All right? All right. So that's why I've been tired. I also started the Columbia University Justice Through Code program. I also have Boris to take care of. He's a handful. So I've been coding. I've been learning Python. I've been up a lot. And I've been tired. And that's why I haven't been around that much. But I'm here. And I'm working for you. And we're going to get through this. I promise you. There's a lot of football left in this game. We're not even past the first quarter. Okay? I promise. So if you want to write me, go ahead. hit me up on Twitter. I'm always running my mouth on there. And join our Facebook group and go see us at don'tsendusback.org. Good night. Stay strong.